Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have been wanting to get to this. So this has been sent to me a lot on my Twitter, and it's an article from the one and only Kat Hembarge. And it is saying that YouTube's cancelled stars are making comebacks with TikTok, podcasts, and live streams. And it basically, from my knowledge so far, is talking about how specific cancelled YouTubers are using different social media platforms to cultivate a new audience and distance themselves from scandals. Now, for me, my main takeaway from this is Tana Mojo rebranded with podcasts, and she is kind of like the clean girl aesthetic now, which, by the way, is rooted in so much problematic, like, the clean girl aesthetic is such like you can watch it and be like, oh, whatever. But it's really rooted in so many problematic things. Like it's based on wealth in most of the videos as well. It's like the only like pretty people, and for a lot of it it's like the I've been seeing these videos of people talk about like the clean girl aesthetic, and it'll be just like the typical white girl who's conventionally attractive, clear skin, and like cleans her room and has a lot of money. I think it's just so built on that. But anyway, Tana Mojo is kind of going into that now. And Jeffree Star has been doing something that has been just so bizarre. Jeffree Star has completely rebranded to an entire new audience, and I don't know if people are aware of it. And I'm not talking about the yaks. I'm not talking about the yaks, and I'm not talking about the farmer. I'm not talking about the farmers or anything. Or the meat people. Jeffree Star has rebranded on TikTok. Jeffree Star spends many hours a day on TikTok Live getting donations from people. And if you're not aware, when you go live on TikTok, people can send gifts. And if you do a battle with someone, it means that you go live with someone and people donate to your stream, people donate to the other person's stream, and whoever wins takes all of the pool of money together. So Jeffree does these live streams with where he'll call on random people, he'll win the money, takes both of the money that was raised on his stream and then the other person's stream, and he's making like literally like thousands of dollars a day. Like I would argue he's making, I don't know, but probably more than $50,000 a day doing this, where people are donating their money to Jeffree so that he can win the battle, and then he wins the battle and he also takes the other streamer who's normally like just a small streamer, all of their money as well that their audience donated. And he's doing these live streams on TikTok while he's eating, while he's getting his makeup done, while he's just scrolling on his phone, while he's doing fucking nothing, while he's playing with the dogs. He has completely rebranded himself to this entirely new, like, young TikTok audience. But let's read this article. And for James, I don't know what James has done other than try to not gonna finish that sentence. After a wave of YouTuber cancellation, some of the platform's household names have moved to TikTok and find renewed fame with less scrutiny. For some influencers, being cancelled isn't career ending, it's a launch pad to a fresh start. Three of the internet's most controversial stars have staged successful comebacks over the past 2 years, but instead of changing themselves, they just switched platforms. Thank you for reminding me. Please go subscribe to my second channel. I'm seeing everyone in my chat is reminding me. Please go over. I am vlogging every single day. Just posted my apartment tour. I'm going to post a vlog right after I finish this as well. Please go over and subscribe. It'll be pinned down below. Thank you so much for reminding me. So it's basically saying that when people get cancelled, they don't change themselves, they just change the platform. James Charles, Tana Mojo, and Jeffree Star, each of whom have 20 million followers across various platforms, have found success in what might be considered their second or third or fourth hacks at internet fame. The three were among the most followed and most criticized internet creators of a recently past era when weekly YouTube videos were the dominant format of influencer content. They've all faced multiple cycles of widespread backlash, or what some people would call cancellation. Now, they are thriving on other platforms and with other kinds of content, using their renewed goodwill to launch tours and podcasts. Star, Jeffree, government name, who has been known on YouTube for makeup and luxury style, has embraced TikTok Live, which is what I was talking to you about, where he live streams for hours at a time. Do you want to know who texts Kat about Jeffree doing the live streams? I literally texted her like weeks ago, and I sent her Alphaba, the UK drama TikToker, with Jeffree, and I was like, you need to see this. And I love knowing that I didn't impact this story. Like, I didn't influence her in any way, but I love knowing that I, like, planted a little bit of a seed when it comes to Jeffree. Where Jeffree has embraced TikTok Live, where he live streams for hours at a time. Mojo, who rose on YouTube prominence with exaggerated story times about herself, launched a podcast called Cancelled in 2021 that has an audience of millions of listeners. She also jump-started a cross-country live tour, which, by the way, the reviews for Tana's tour have, like, people are like, she is showing up late and doing the bare minimum on stage. And I was going to make a video on it, and then I was like, you're buying tickets to a Tana Mojo concert. You deserve that. Like, I was going to make a video on it, and then I was like, if you're buying tickets to a show that's called Cancelled, and it's Tana Mojo, you kind of deserve to get trolled a little bit. I'm going to be honest. Sorry. In 2021, and is doing a tour, James Charles, boo, who shot to YouTube stardom in late 2010s with his beauty content, entertains close to 38 million followers on TikTok and just recently launched an independent makeup line called Painted. Remember? Since no one has been talking about it, and that's not even me being bitter, but like, woo! No one has been talking about that. Actually forgot about it. Endorsed by some of the influencers who previously joined in the bandwagon of his downfall. Their comebacks highlight how, even on the internet, where past misdeeds can follow people indefinitely and cancel culture supposedly dominates, popular creators can shrug off what once seemed like career-ending controversies or even use them to their advantage. If you're being talked about and remembered, that is important, especially now that the industry is so oversaturated. If you know people by name, that is a good thing, said Crystal, a professor of internet studies at Curtin University in Australia, and internet cultures. Over the past decade plus, the building blocks of online stardom were regularly posted YouTube videos, usually around 20 minutes long. With this formula, influencers were able to monetize their YouTube channels by making a percentage of the revenue from ads that paid in front and during their videos. That gave birth to a content niche dedicated to talking about the daily dramas about those creators, commonly known as drama channels, which would cover everything from undisclosed influencer sponsorships to unsatisfactory product launches to more serious allegations like sexual violence and racism. Traditional media outlets began covering these controversies too, once they saw that drama channels were bringing in an audience. They almost need publicity, whether it's good or bad, just to stay relevant, to keep the views up and to keep their products selling, said Spillsash, an anonymous pop culture news commentator who has more than 700,000 subscribers. A lot of them have made it their personality and they've been cancelled a million times. Around 2020, this tried and true formula started to break down. A wave of high-profile sexual misconduct and racism allegations swept the YouTube landscape. Isn't that really interesting to note that the concept of being cancelled in the YouTube space wasn't that bad of a thing until 2020. Isn't that crazy to think about? I mean, people got cancelled here and there, but it was always joked about being cancelled. But in 2020, it was like, I mean, YouTubers literally sold merch about being cancelled before 2020, and then when 2020 hit, it was like a whole different. It is wild. I want a Wendy's. I'm going to order a Wendy's after this. Sorry, it's just popped into my head and I'm saying it verbally so I remember it. Wait, what time do Wendy's? I don't know. Okay. Entangling many of the platform's breakout stars across genres like vlogging and beauty guru content, Charles was accused of exchanging sexually explicit messages with underage fans. Stars was a checkered past involving racist content and allegations of sexual assault, and Mojo eventually apologized in response to racist microaggressions toward black creators. Wow, a great lineup there. We have Charles accused of sending sexually explicit messages to minors. Jeffree Star, who was accused in very racist content and allegations of sexual assault. and Mojo, who was racist. What a fucking lineup. Boo. I think I have had Jack in the Box. And they didn't give me any sauces, so it was like really dry. So I don't know if I enjoyed it that much. I'm going to be honest. But I'm always down for a second time. We just don't have it over here. Both Charles and Star have denied allegations of sexual misconduct and assault. Charles acknowledged, though, that he messaged 2 people under the age of 18, but he said that at least one of them lied about their age. Star had previously acknowledged his history of racist content in a 2017 video. Remember the one? Wait. Racism. Remember that video? Racism. This is actually so accurate to the thumbnail. Racism. In all capitals and a full stop after it. Boo. It was crazy. I look yassified. Where are we? Hello? He said that at least one of the boys lied about their age. Star previously acknowledged his racist content in 2017. Still, their controversies accumulated into a tidal wave of backlash in 2020. I know a lot of people don't want to view influencers as celebrities, but they were being reported on by mainstream media for the first time ever, said Spillsesh, who is considered one of the most major YouTube drama channels. So, their cancellations, the things that they were getting them called out for, it was now on a bigger scale than just the niche YouTube community. I think that's an interesting point. That until 2020, mainstream media really didn't cover this, but in 2020, the Shane Dawson cancellation was on par with the media calling Ellen out or something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, cat hairs. You know what I mean? So maybe that actually is it. That's a great point from Spillsesh. See, I was like, oh, people are just getting tired of the shit. You know, like 10 cancellations in a row. You're like, you're pushing it. But yeah, the mainstream media were picking up on it. Because there was nothing to talk about. We were in the pandemic, so mainstream media had to start talking about them. The fallout was quick. James Charles' entire YouTube channel was temporarily demonetized, meaning he lost the ability to make money from ads. Oh my god, so someone who's being inappropriate with minors or using them in some way immediately got their channel temporarily demonetized, but there's other creators who do the exact same thing, don't get theirs? YouTube? Any comment? Jeffree Star briefly disappeared from YouTube, and when he returned, his view count was substantially lower. This happened to Tana Mojo. All 3 of them had already expressed, like many YouTubers do, their struggle to maintain steady monetization on content that was frequently deemed advertiser unfriendly, sometimes willingly without cause. During the period that he was demonetized on YouTube, James Charles stopped posting, because obviously he's not making money. He returned to the platform after 90 days, the period that was needed to pass before he could reapply for monetization. He was back the second he could make money, saying that he used his time away to actually hold himself accountable and do a lot of work behind the scenes. Later, James Charles removed the first video in which he acknowledged, though, that he was exchanging messages with minors. Similarly, during his own controversy in 2020, Jeffree Star took several weeks off from posting and returned with a video that didn't answer specific questions or claims, but suggested taking legal action against critics. None of it was. And said that he had been engaging in self-reflection, like always. Tana Mojo, after taking months off from posting, apologized to 2 black creators who accused her of being racist towards them. Although she denied being racist and said her behavior was due to immaturity, they didn't accept her apology. Charles, Mojo, and Star still post to their YouTube, but their viewership has treaded on a downward spiral, and they post less frequently as they once did at the height of their fame 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of them were just tired of it, said Spillsesh. They kind of went away, stopped really posting. I think they really lost interest in posting on YouTube because the comments were full of backlash and people wanting them to address this or address that. But Tana Mojo has been able to rebuild a steady following after the podcast, or through the podcast, sorry, aptly naming it Cancelled, in reference to the various controversies she previously endured throughout her YouTube career. The podcasts are roughly 1 to 2 hours long, much longer than the typical content, which Spillsesh said is currently one of the reasons that cancelled works, since Mojo's original appeal was sharing off-the-cuff stories about her life, which is what the podcasts are doing. Tana Mongeau even took Cancelled on tour this year and is traveling around the US. Spillsesh said that Tana Mongeau's viewers have expected her to be cancelled, so Mojo can just apologize during the next episode and fans will continue tuning in. Cancelled is posted on YouTube in addition to being streamed on podcast platforms, including Spotify. Tana Mongeau recently lost, oh, here we go, Cynthia mentioned. Tana Mongeau recently lost a cancelled sponsorship from a language learning app, Babbel, after she relayed an anecdote on a podcast about wanting a French woman wined her dead. Free my girl, Cynthia. Free my girl, Cynthia. But Tana Mongeau was back the next day with other sponsors. The next episode. Sorry, I was being a bit dramatic there. The next episode. From 2020 to 2023, I think Kat has done a great job of like jumping between all three of them here. It keeps the article like bouncy, if you know what I mean. From 2020 to 2023, James Charles's average view count fell by 10.1 million views. Holy shit. Wait. So in 3 years, James Charles's average video count fell by 10 million views. But Charles made early inroads on TikTok, collaborating with the platform's biggest stars in 2020. Remember, it was really creepy. He was hanging out in the content houses with all of them. Like Charli D'Amelio, and he was literally like 23, or 22, 21, hanging out with like the 16-year-old Charli D'Amelios and stuff just to make content off of them. Boo! And building a following of nearly 30 million people, just the biggest social climber ever. Now, James Charles's TikTok views are viewed 5 times as much as his YouTube videos on average. Abdin said that the emergence on TikTok as a dominant platform has made it harder for individual influencers to stand out in a sea of creators, thanks in large part to the platform's endless algorithm-driven For You page. And, you know, there's pros and cons to it. That has somewhat helped creators like Stars and Charles, who have had, or so it's counterintuitively helped creators like them who had major names, but it's now harder for new people to establish themselves. As a result, people are passively absorbing more content, but not necessarily finding it memorable. In order to stand out now, you need to be a kind of influencer or event that is Googleable or Google-worthy. Googleable is such a funny word to say, Googleable. I need to know, so I'm going to Google it or search it on YouTube, Googleable, and that drives up the engagement for what you're doing. Star, on the other hand, didn't start getting into TikTok until more recently. After TikTok launched TikTok Live, which allows viewers to tip creators small amounts of money by sending token gifts, Star started, and by the way, you can donate like 20 cents or you can donate like $500 or something like that, right? Or like $1,000. You can donate big amounts. Star spends so many hours. Sorry, it's just crazy. I see him all the time on there. It's fucking... Star spends so many hours, it says spending hours, but I'm going to say so many hours, at a time live streaming to tens of thousands of viewers. He also uses the TikTok shop feature to market his products like his makeup line directly to his audience. That's smart. Suddenly, he's unlocked this part of TikTok and he's thriving on it, Spillsesh said. Since the height of his days on YouTube, Star has moved to Casper, Wyoming, where he owns a yak farm. He recently opened a shop where he sells makeup and yak products, including yak meat. To people who watched him back in the YouTube days, they're like, what do you mean he's thriving? Spillsesh said. Everyone on TikTok watching is like, what do you mean you don't like Farmer Jeffrey? So it's basically different perceptions of Jeffrey by different audiences, but he's been able to completely cultivate a new audience based on this like relatable going live every day. It's crazy. This is a great article by Kat. I think great comparisons. If I had to rank them, I would do Tana, Jeffrey, James. Yeah. Anyways, there's that. Do I want to say something else? Yeah, I do. I have one more thing to say. I think it's really interesting that content creators are able to, in their minds, justify completely rebuilding an entire new audience on a completely different platform than wanting to look inwards and change problematic behavior about themselves that they're being called out for. Just a little comment I want to end it on. Okay, bye.